All right, folks, Mark here again, cooking books, bringing information. I'm a little fatigued. I've been researching, reading, and just perusing this First Samuel for some time now, for several hours, and my eyes are just a little burnt, but whatever. All right, so listen, I want to talk about not judging things by mere appearance, right? Which is so easy for us to do. Very easy for us to judge things based off appearance, what it appears to be, what it presents to us, what it exhibits to us in terms of our natural eyesight, natural sight, natural vision, not judging based off those appearances. So we want to look at First Samuel chapter 16. So Samuel is commissioned by God to go into Bethlehem and to go into the house of Jesse and anoint Jesse's son, one of Jesse's 8 sons, as the next in line to be king. Now, when Samuel gets to, we're going to fast forward it in the interest of time. When Samuel gets to Bethlehem and he sees Eliab, which is one of Jesse's son, because of the stature of Eliab, he was a big, strong, manly looking man. Immediately, Samuel assumes and presumes that this is who God has sent him to anoint. But God says to him, "Look not at his countenance, nor on the height of his stature. For the Lord seeth not man as man seeth. For man look on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart." So again, man looks at the outward appearance, physical, but God looks at the inward, the heart, okay? The disposition, the attitude, the cognitive thinking, the spirit. And so here's Samuel, who's a wise man, who's a prophet, had mistakenly saw Eliab and immediately thought, this must be who God wants me to anoint. But interestingly enough, it wasn't. And he continued, there were 8 sons. So it wasn't Eliab, then another son come by and he thinks, okay, this must be him. No, then another, no. And all the sons kept coming by and none of them were who God chose to be anointed. So then he asks Jesse, is there any other sons? And Jesse said, yes, I have the youngest. My youngest son, he's out there herding the sheep. He's a sheep herder. And he sends for him and he brings him in. He didn't have the statuesque. He didn't have he was young. He was in his youth. He was still a boyishness. So he wasn't impressive in his stature. He wasn't impressive in his physique. He wasn't what Samuel expected. And this is who God tells him to anoint. Moving right along. So David is anointed king. And let's back up a little bit. Before David is anointed king, David is constantly being told to go to fetch this, fetch that, fetch this, fetch this. In other words, he was what in my office, what we would call, on Wall Street, we would call him a gopher. Go for this, go for that, go for this, go for that. So we call, like, I have kids cold callers that work for me, and I'll tell them, go get me a cup of coffee, go for a cup of coffee, go for some bagels, go for some lunch. And, because these are the underlings, right? These are people who I'm training. They're next in line. They're coming up under me. So I would send them to go get this, go get that. So we call them gophers. And if we delve in, as we peruse through the scriptures, we realize that David, prior to becoming anointed and all this, he was a gopher. He was sent to fetch the water. He was sent to fetch the sheep. He was sent to herd the sheep. He was sent to bring this, to bring that, to do this. So he wasn't what Samuel expected in terms of the task that was at hand. And so David is anointed and he becomes, next in line. He slays, I'm sure we all know the story of David slays Goliath. Saul tries to kill him later on. But the moral of it is this. How can we apply this to our lives today? And the application is, let us learn to not judge our predicament, circumstance, or conditions based off mere visuals. There's a deeper connotation. There's a deeper and more profound lesson to be extracted out of this story or this basic principle, and that deeper meaning, that cryptic mystical meaning, is for you and I to apply this to our life today in everyday situations. We are never ever to just judge the challenges that we're facing, the difficulties that we're going through, the problems, the setbacks, the heartaches. We're never to just judge them based off how they look. Never make your judgment or your decision based off how a situation look. No matter how bad it might look, and it goes the other way, no matter how good it might look, because you got to remember, Eliab looked good. According to the task that was at hand, Eliab looked like the warrior that God would choose to anoint as king next in line. David didn't. David did not have the expectancy, the expected look that Samuel was looking for. So it goes both ways. Eliab looked good, but it wasn't what God wanted. David did not look good, but it was what God wanted. So we have to understand that your situation might look bad, but you can't make your judgment based off the situation looking bad solely and exclusively. Your situation might look good, but you can't make your decision exclusively and solely based off the fact that it looks good. So the deeper meaning is that we must learn and train. Here's the kicker. We must learn and train our inner eyes, the mind sight, not the physical sight, but your mind sight, not your eyesight, your mind sight, to do what is called discern. This is why the scriptures tell us to pray for the spirit of discernment. We must train our mind sight to be able to discern. And discern just simply means, simply put, to be able to decipher, to be able to know the difference, to really, it's not just knowing the difference, it's knowing the nuances, right? Discernment has a very meticulous nature to it. It means you are fastidious to details. You are fastidious to the nuances. You are fastidious to the subtleties. So when you are meticulous and fastidious to the nuances and subtleties, you are able to pinpoint and to see what everyone else misses. I'll say that again. When you are fastidious and meticulous, painstakingly fastidious and meticulous to the minutiae, the nuances, the subtleties, and the what's called the details, you are able to pinpoint to pinpoint and to be able to perceive what no one else is perceiving. Because Samuel saw what looked good. But scripture says God doesn't look on the outward appearance of man. He doesn't look the way man look. Man look on the outward. God looks on the heart. So there is a layered, right? There's layers that needs to be peeled back or unraveled or teased out and be able to read what's called the tea leaves, which are the indicators, the indications, the indicators, things that indicate this or that. And then you can actually, like I said, extract or extrapolate what no one else is extrapolating, what no one else is perceiving. So the moral again is, folks, don't judge your conditions, your situations based solely off of their appearance. Learn to train your mind to discern what lies not just beneath or on top, but within that condition. And I also want to add this. I did a video where I talked about, this is a side note. The video I talked about why does this happen for you? Changing the word for, changing the word to for. Why is this happening to me? To why is this happening for me? Also, what I want to just drop this in here. Every challenge that comes in your life, right? Some challenges are very general. When I say general challenges, I mean everyone faces these challenges, right? Paying a bill, not being able to pay the bill on time, car notes, not being able to pay the car note on time, repossessions, repos. These are kind of like common challenges. These are like everyday stuff. I think we can say most people have experienced, being late with a phone bill, or not being able, or having a light bill turned off, or, this is common everyday affairs. But there are challenges that come into your life that are very unique. And this is where we have to talk about the spirit of discernment, really being able to discern, to perceive, and to take apart and know the difference in the subtleties, paying attention to the details, reading the tea leaves. There are challenges that come into each and every individual's life. And some of these challenges are very unique. Pay attention to the challenges that you face, folks. Some challenges are extremely unique. They are extremely, extremely, extremely particular. Now, the reason why I say pay attention to these challenges, pay attention to the challenge that you face. Also, pay attention to if you face the challenges several times. The same challenge continues to show up in your life. If the same challenge, same difficulty continues to show up in your life, pay very close attention to that challenge, because that challenge, within that challenge or that difficulty or that hardship, there is a particular characteristic inside of you that challenge is constantly coming up in your life to bring out of you. I'll say that again. There are generalizations, general challenges that we all face. And then there are particular and unique challenges. Now, these particular and unique challenges are tailored to the person that they are up on, or who they are visiting, or whose lives they have thrust themselves into. These particular challenges, if you pay attention to them, they are there in your life because there is a particular characteristic that is within you that needs to be developed, cultivated, prepared, or flushed out of you. So particular challenges are tailored to the particular person. You might say, why does this person keep going through this situation? You don't know why. So leave God's work alone. Don't question God's work. What you don't understand, you leave alone, because there are particular powers inside of all of us, particular strengths, features, characteristics, traits. And these particular challenges or difficulties that show up in a particular person's life is there because there's a particular characteristic that particular person needs to cultivate, prepare, or flush out. So so within the particular challenge lies the answer, right? Because in the challenge lies the solution. The solution is that particular challenge carries within it the tool necessary to bring out the particular characteristic and or trait that you need to develop and to bring out of you so that you can fulfill your purpose, because we all have a purpose. We all have a mission, a decree, a order, something. We're born to do something amongst the universe. And in order for you to tap into that particular power that's within you, that particular challenge keeps showing up. Until you see that, you will continue to see that challenge as just a challenge and not as an instrument or an instrument of the divine hand that is being utilized up on you to bring out that particular characteristic. Maybe your particular or unique strength is courage. Maybe so the challenge that shows up in your life is a challenge that will induce and cultivate courage within you, because that could be a latent or dormant power that you have within. The spirit of courage. Gideon his name means a mighty warrior. So he had that courage already within him, but he pressed wine. Didn't take much courage to press wine. But when he was charged with what he needed to do, which was to liberate Israel from the Midianites, that required courage. So particular challenges are going to come into your life, folks. Look at them. Don't look at them based off the mere appearance. Train your eyes to be able to see what is this particular challenge trying to, what particular trait in me, this particular challenge is either trying to cultivate, prepare, or destroy. Because if you have a particular weakness of arrogance, right? If you have a trait of exceeding arrogance, right? You're extremely arrogant. There could be there will be challenges that show up in your life that are sent to humble you. So those challenges are particularly tailored to humble your arrogance. You see how it works? So pay attention to the difficulties that keeps showing up in your life. It's called relative frequency, which means how often something occurs. Relative frequency, how often it occurs in a set time or a set period. So if you notice that you are encountering certain particular challenges and you're like, why do I go through this again and again and again? There's something in you that particular challenge is trying to draw out of you and really cultivate and develop you. But for some reason, you have not yet learned that lesson. You have not yet let that challenge bring that best out of you, because it's in human nature to want the easy route. A lot of people would take the easy route. So rather than face it, deal with it, acknowledge it, sit down and really see what's happening, we figure ways to escape it or to, avoid it. But that's why it keeps showing up, because you can't avoid it. It's sent from God to bring that out of you. So I wanted to just kind of throw that in there, because I was talking that's kind of like goes into the last video. Why is this happening for me? All right. So till next time, folks. Mark here, cooking books. I'm tired. My eyes are like, or whatever. Peace.